I bought my first Orthodox Bible ever because I started studying the controversies between what appear to be conflicts between the Old Testament as translated through the Masoretic text or Masoretic text and versions of the copies of the Old Testament translated through the Septuagint. I will say that every Reformation Bible that I have seen, including the King James Version and the Geneva Bible, has the Old Testament translated through the Masoretic text or the Masoretic text, depending on how you want to pronounce it. And it's the Roman Catholic Bible and the Orthodox Bibles which retain a translation through the Septuagint, Old Testament translation through the Septuagint. And as I said, I bought my first Orthodox Bible ever because I became concerned about these differences, and there are quite a few. There are two sides to the argument. The argument for the, the argument for the Masoretic text. One of them is found by in an article on the Creation Research Society website, and they have objected to 13 verses. And I would think that that would be a coincidence, except that I know that the Creation Research Society is connected with Answers in Genesis, and Answers in Genesis has a prominent figure known as Danny Faulkner, who is a Freemason, or has very close Freemasonic ties and some other very questionable behavior, which I have screenshotted many of these concerns from his Facebook page. So I don't want to throw out their argument. I want to examine it, but I'm taking it with a grain of salt because of the involvement in and connection with Danny Faulkner as one of their prominent members or associates. Now, the other side, there's probably between, it's hard to pin it down, but there's as many as 51 at the 51 concerns in favor of the Septuagint. Now, I'm gonna not take up too much more of your time and try to get into this. So this is my King James Bible. All right, now this is the New Testament, and the concern is that the quotes by the New Testament authors or apostles do not match the quotes in the, so when they make an Old Testament quote, it doesn't match the Old Testament quote when you go and you reference it if it was translated through the Masoretic text, but it does match if it was translated through the Septuagint. Now, this is the King James Bible. This is in the book of Hebrews, chapter 10, and we're going to go down here and look beginning in verse 5. Wherefore, when he cometh into the world, he saith, and this is the crucial part, sacrifice and offering thou wouldest not, but a body hast thou prepared me. Okay, so now we're going to turn over to the Old Testament reference, and it says, sacrifice and offering thou didst not desire, mine ears hast thou opened. Burnt offering and sin offering hast thou not required. Okay, well, where's prepared me a body, but a body hast thou prepared me? The bodily resurrection of Christ, the fact that he was incarnated, that he was God incarnate, and that he had a bodily resurrection, these things are all central, very, very central tenets of Christianity and the true Christian faith. Sacrifice and offering thou wouldest not, but a body hast thou prepared me. But in the same, this is the same quote. Sacrifice and offering thou didst not desire, mine ears hast thou opened. Well, where's body prepared for me? Where is that? All right, so now this is the Hebrew. This is a Hebrew interlinear, okay? So this is the Masoretic text, okay? So, Sacrifice and offering you did not desire. You have opened ears to me. Well, you have prepared for me a body. Where's that? You have not asked burnt offering and sin offering. Now, we went to the King James. We went to the Hebrew or Masoretic text. Now this is, let's see here, this is the Orthodox Bible. I'm sorry, I'm getting shadow lines from the window. Let's see if we can do a better job with this or not. All right. So now even the verse numbers and chapter numbers differ a little bit in the Orthodox from the Reformation Bibles. All right. So this over here was Psalm 40. This is Psalm 39, and even the verses are a little different. Instead of verse 6, it begins in verse 7. But it is absolutely the same text that we're referring to. Sacrifice and offering you did not will, but a body you prepared for me. Well, that matches what the New Testament writer in Hebrews says. But a body you prepared for me. Okay, but over here in the King James Version, mine ears hast thou opened. But a body you prepared for me. Nothing about ears being opened in this. Now, this is the Brenton Septuagint. The Septuagint was what the Orthodox Bible was translated through, that is to say, the Old Testament. And this is a Brenton, but it's very hard to find anything in here because it's all Roman numerals and it's difficult. So the Septuagint is essentially the Greek translation, and the claim is that Jesus and the disciples and the apostles used the Septuagint version rather than the Masoretic text. And the claim is also that the Masoretic text wasn't even finished until 1008 AD. And the claim also is that the Septuagint was finished by 295 AD, which is why Jesus and the disciples used it. So here we are in the Brenton Septuagint. Sacrifice and offering thou wouldest not, but a body hast thou prepared me. Nothing about ears being opened. A body hast thou prepared me. Whole burnt offering and sacrifice for sin thou didst not require. Then I said, behold, I come. In the volume of the book it is written concerning me. I desire to do thy will, O my God, and thy law in the midst of my heart. I have preached righteousness in the great congregation. Lo, I will not refrain my lips, O Lord. Thou knowest my righteousness. Okay, so I was going to try to do this across the board, anywhere from the 13 verse objections to the Old Testament in the article by the Creation Research Society versus the other arguments in favor of the Septuagint. So, sorry, I know this is a bit long, but that's when you get into a study like this, it can be that way. Thank you.